and today we're continuing the Divine Comedy, a trio of poems written by Dante Alighieri. To recap, Dante and his guide Virgil have just traveled through the entirety of hell and emerged from the other side of the earth, ready to make the ascent towards heaven. So let's begin Purgatorio, the second section of the poem. Virgil and Dante stand at the base of a mountain, which was created when Lucifer crashed into the earth. This mountain is also the ascension to heaven, so it begins with another lobby of sorts called the Ante-Purgatory. These are people waiting to ascend, usually in this lobby because they were excommunicated or they repented too late in life. Dante made a point to include that the prayers of the living could affect how long a soul lingered in purgatory. If someone repented late in life, they must wait for a lengthy period before ascending. There are 7 terraces of purgatory, each one loosely tied to the 7 deadly sins. Instead of being punished and tortured like Inferno, as you ascend the terraces, you atone for these sins from the past. The first terrace is Pride, where the souls there are humbled and humiliated by having to carry massive boulders on their backs and are forever hunched over. The second terrace is Envy, where people are punished for wanting what is someone else's. Some are blinded here by their eyes being sewn shut. The wrathful are being punished in the third terrace, where a thick black smoke surrounds them and makes them feel alone. Some even see visions in the darkness, examples of meekness, which is the opposite to wrath. In the fourth terrace, we have those that were slothful in life, and here they must race and shout about people that showed zeal in life. They will eventually make up for the sloth they exhibited. In the fifth terrace, Virgil and Dante encounter the greedy and the reckless spenders, who are penitent here by being bound face down, unable to move or gather anything. They must show an understanding of love beyond physical goods and money, so they shout out examples of generosity. Before we get to Terrace 6, there's an earthquake for Dante and Virgil, a sign that another soul has repented and is now able to enter paradise. The two of them now enter the gluttonous terrace, where those that feasted non-stop in life are forced to starve and thirst. Almost to the peak, they enter Terrace 7, where the lustful walk through flames, where they must show disregard for their bodies completely, shouting stories of chastity. To leave this terrace, Dante must also walk through a wall of flame, which he does only because the woman he loves, Beatrice, awaits him in paradise. And that basically ends Purgatorio, at least the major points. Dante stands ready to ascend into the heavens. Dante meets Beatrice, and they are going to ascend through the spheres of heaven, floating higher and higher towards paradise. Virgil, his guide until now, does not follow. The first sphere is the sphere of the moon, which is for souls that have been unable to keep their vows, usually when it comes to a vow to God. So we see a lot of authority figures and religious figures that were kicked out of their positions, not of their own fault. The sphere of Mercury is for those that were right and just, but were driven by ambition, so not entirely selfless. Sometimes fame drove them and they wanted recognition for their good works. The third sphere, the sphere of Venus, is for quote-unquote lovers, people that loved God and humanity so passionately that alone earned them a place in heaven. The fourth sphere, the sphere of the sun, is for the wise and intellectual, who sought to educate and change hearts and minds. So Dante had discussions here with a few of those wise leaders. The fifth sphere is the sphere of Mars, the warriors. Their souls are holding up a shape of a cross, and these souls have fought and given their lives for the faith, including many heroes from the Crusades. In Sphere 6, the sphere of Jupiter, the souls of just rulers make up the shape of an eagle, telling Dante about the importance of divine justice. The seventh is the sphere of Saturn, those who live their lives in prayer and contemplation. These souls are actually angry at the current state of the church and corruption inside it. Dante used this section to express his discontent with the church of the time. The eighth sphere is called the Fixed Stars, which exists in the constellation of Gemini, as this is almost his final destination, so he's able to look back and see Earth in the distance. Dante meets the greatest saints to exist here, including the Virgin Mary and the Apostles. The last sphere is called Primum Mobile, and it's the last physical stop on his adventure. We see 9 orders of angels surrounding God, all appearing as bright lights and energy. Beatrice recounts the story of creation here, how God put everything into existence. We enter the last realm, beyond physical existence, called the Empyrean. Dante sees the shape of a rose, but it represents all divine love, and heaven, as he just experienced, exists inside this flower. Dante also sees God and describes it as best as he could as 3 overlapping circles to represent the Holy Trinity. The poem comes to an end as Dante gives up on trying to describe it, not having the words or the thoughts to understand what he saw there. He says, quote unquote, "That was not a flight for my wings." The poem ends.